Welcome ladies, Benjamin Selby-Hele here, your resident lifestyle and leadership coach. And today I'll bring forth to you a family focus episode. So it's a really influential and important one today, and it's all about how you influence your family. Now I just wanted to start off with a statistic today, because as it currently stands, in excess of 25% of the children in Australia are overweight and or obese. And I just find that absolutely phenomenal, because the only thing that can attribute to such a stark rise over the past 20 years in those obesity rates is what kids are learning and getting taught at home. So my passion is working with ladies such as yourselves who have such a dramatic influence over your family unit. And I aim to try and inspire and help better educate, more mums and more sisters and more aunties and more of those family figures, those female family figures, to inspire everyone within their family to change, and to change for the better, to lead healthy, long-lasting lifestyles, because I think that's all that we want for our families and our friends. So if you haven't already realised, I just want you to make sure you understand how influential and how important your role is within your family dynamic. And you're going to realise that even more today. So by the end of today's lesson, you'll find out what it is exactly that influences your family most, what it is that you do that influences the most. Now, if you're of the belief that you don't have much influence or you don't want to change your influence, well, then you run the risk of a number of things. Namely, there's the potential for poor health, there's the potential for influencing poor habits and poor lifestyle, and subsequently the people around you, and namely children. If you've got children, they've got no role model, no healthy role model to look up to. So we want to ensure that we're doing everything in our power, as I'm sure we all would as parents. Not that I am a parent, so I can only empathise at this point. But having taught a lot of kids in the past, I know how influential a strong adult role model can be, particularly a healthy one. So ultimately, if we can start to shift our influence so that we're being as healthily influential as possible, we provide a gift to those children around us, be it our children, our own children, or just the kids that we come into contact with, that next generation. We provide them a gift that more and more kids are missing out on. And I think that's something that it should just be a given, that we get a good nutritional information nutritional education that's passed down from us, from our parents and the people before us. So at this moment, I want you to think about why it's so important for you. Why is it so important for you to set a great example and to be a great influence on the younger generation and your own kids? Why is that important for you? Bring that to the forefront of your mind. And we're going to get into the principles. So in order to be a strong positive influence, there's a number of things we need to do. So firstly, you need to decide what sort of influence you want to be. What is it that you want? Do you want to be that healthy role model? And you perhaps don't know how to be that healthy role model. What is it that you want to be, and what is the precedent that you want to set? We firstly understand that. Then secondly, our second principle is pick your model or pick your example. So find someone out there that you perhaps aspire to emulate, or that's doing it the way that you want to do it. And look exactly what it is that they're doing. Why are they so influential? What are the actions that they're engaging in, and how can you mimic them? Our third principle revolves around those actions. What are the actual actions? Can you identify them? Can you adopt them? And in most cases, more often than not, you can. And that's how you can implement and have the same similar influence. So if there's someone that's healthy, and their kids look healthy, and they're doing a lot of things, they seem to be doing a lot of things right, what is it that they're doing? Can you model yourself on what it is that they're doing and take bits and pieces? The key is to take bits and pieces from all over the place and then create your own lifestyle around that and be that your own positive influence in your own way. And lastly, our fourth principle revolves around leading by example. So acknowledging those actions, not only acknowledging those actions, but finding them and then applying them. Because it's in that application that you're going to enhance your leadership. and the consistency in which you apply it and the way in which people see you apply it, namely that younger generation, will rub off on them more profoundly than simply telling them what to do. Pardon me. So, with that being said, how do we apply this? What are the basics? What we can do within our family dynamic to realize how it is we're influencing our family currently? And that can just be a partner. It doesn't mean you've got kids, but it might just be with your brothers and your sisters and your mum and dad. But how is it that your influence is perceived, and what is it that you think the perception of your influence is? So here are our 4 action steps. Firstly, I want you can get everyone to do this, but independently, or everyone in your family, write down what the most influential habit you believe you possess. What's your most influential quality? Is it positive or negative? Can you define it right down to an action? What is it, the thing that you do that has the most influence on the people in your family? Secondly, identify your family's influences. So get your family to write down each one of the members in your family, and write down the biggest influence that each person has within that family unit, and whether it's positive or negative, and what it actually is. What is it that influences you most about each particular person within your family? Now, once you've got that list, once you've had your own time to be able to cultivate that list, it's time to start openly exchanging. But create that safe environment where everyone's open for constructive criticism and feedback. It's not attacking, particularly if you're identifying those negative influences. It can be a little bit touchy. So just tread lightly. But you want to identify, this is our 3rd step, identify the positive and negative influences that you have on your family collectively. So, and go around to each person and identify the positive and the negative influences that each person has, and nail it down to a particular action, an action that's subsequently changeable. And then lastly, create an action plan or a plan of attack for change. So what is it that you can replace these negative influences with? What is it that you can do with the positive influences to enhance them and make them greater? So that the whole family begins to influence themselves, that whole family unit begins to influence themselves or each other in a positive capacity. You influence people more greatly than what you realize, and it's just simply through those simple actions you engage in daily. But it's not until you look back or stand back and reflect that you can identify exactly what those are. So firstly, in summary, decide what it is you want. Pick your model to base yourself on. Identify the actions that your model or your example engages in, and start to cultivate them for yourself and identify them for yourself, and then lead by example. That's how you can have a massively positive influence on your family, be it from a nutritional standpoint or far and beyond that. From relationships, love, what have you. The example you set will set the precedent for how your family's influenced. With that being said, ladies, enjoy the little break. We're going to get into a new week next week. Focus on your process and enjoy the journey, and I'll be tuning in with you guys next week.